The man in front of me is Lei Gong, the leader of the Black Tiger Gang. He has 3 ruthless adopted sons who help him to do evil. The big tiger, Beisha, as the name suggests, is cruel by nature and loves blood. The second tiger, Haya, is greedy for money and regards money as his life. And the third tiger, Laoshe, is a ruthless person who destroys women. It was the late Qing Dynasty, when the government and the public were corrupt and the world was full of evil. The 2 evil forces, the Black Tiger Gang and the Beihai Gang, dominated the Pearl River port in Guangzhou. Merchant ships from all over the world became the perfect tools for the 2 gangs to make profits. They not only sold opium openly, but also treated Chinese people as piglets and sold them to all parts of the world to do hard labor. In order to dominate the Huangpu River, the 2 gangs fought constantly and became enemies. Under their brutal rule, poor people wailed everywhere, and the people were living in misery. Huang Feihong had suffered from gang oppression since he was a child, and even his relatives died tragically at the hands of the Black Tiger Gang. In order to prevent the people from suffering again, he decided to risk his life, go deep into the Black Tiger Gang, disintegrate it, and give the people a peaceful life. On this day, Lei Gong gathered several outstanding dead men in the gang and made a bold statement in public. Whoever can take the head of the Beihai Gang leader will be amended, and made an exception to accept him as the 4th son. Huang Feihong knew that if he wanted to disintegrate the Black Tiger Gang from within, this would be a great opportunity to gain Lei Gong's trust. So he immediately went to the Beihai Gang alone, intending to kill the gang leader Qin Ye. Master Qin swung at him with a steel knife in his hand. Huang Feihong narrowly avoided the attack with his agility, but he was hit by a series of violent attacks. Master Qin's blade could tear the air wherever it passed. Huang Feihong was instantly at a disadvantage and could only defend passively. With just a little carelessness, he was kicked off by a flying kick. If Huang Feihong had not pulled away in time, he would have become a dead soul under Master Qin's knife. In Master Qin's big and powerful moves, Huang Feihong saw the flaw. When he was thrown away, Huang Feihong grabbed the back of the knife. When Master Qin put away the knife, he punched him in the face with a powerful punch. The continuous attack in the air instantly made his eyes bloodshot. Before he could recover, the steel knife was thrown out by Huang Feihong. At this moment, Master Qin had no strength to fight and was beaten like a human sandbag. Finally, Huang Feihong used a double dragon out of the sea move, causing him to die tragically under his own sword. And finally, Huang Feihong took his head. Unexpectedly, a large number of Beihai Gang's younger brothers came after hearing the news, and they surrounded him with their sharp axes. Huang Feihong knew that it was not advisable to stay here for a long time, so he immediately captured a man and jumped down the restaurant. But the younger brothers downstairs had surrounded the place tightly, and facing this narrow alley with no way to retreat, Huang Feihong no longer stayed. He hung Qin Ye's head on his waist and rushed into the crowd like a tiger descending from the mountain. Wherever his fists passed, the enemies fell down. But 2 fists were no match for 4 hands, and Huang Feihong was soon chopped and seriously injured. If this continued, he would die before he even saw Lei Gong. At this moment, firecrackers suddenly sounded everywhere, scaring everyone in the Beihai Gang to retreat one after another. It turned out to be Su, the bucktooth who came with Huang Feihong. Taking advantage of the smoke, the 2 of them finally escaped. Back to the Black Tiger Gang, Huang Feihong was still holding Qin Ye's head tightly, even though he was unconscious. This scene moved Lei Gong, who immediately ordered him to be adopted as his son. Seeing his father's head hanging on the dock, Wu Sheng, the prince of the Beihai Gang, felt like a knife was cutting his heart. He was about to go up and fight, but was stopped by the housekeeper. Wu Sheng could only cut his chest with a knife, vowing to avenge his father. On the other side, Huang Feihong had already woken up after the battle. The big tiger Beisha was jealous, and he directly attacked. He asked everyone to sit down and spoke to Beisha. Seeing this, everyone put down their glasses silently. But now Huang Feihong, who is one of the 4 tigers, doesn't tolerate him at all. He immediately started to sneer at him. Hearing Beisha's secret threats, Black Crow didn't give him face. He even took the initiative to toast Huang Feihong. He didn't take the boss seriously at all. Beisha was so angry that he hit Huang Feihong with a stick. Beisha immediately turned hostile. Just when the 2 sides were on the verge of a fight, Lei Gong appeared and broke the tense atmosphere. After Lei Gong spoke, everyone no longer dared to act presumptuously. In order to gain Lei Gong's trust, the 4 of them led people to completely eliminate the remnants of Beihai that night. Huang Feihong was the first to take the lead and was invincible. In the end, the Guangdong wharf was left with only the Black Tiger Gang as a banner. they monopolized all the underground businesses at the mouth of the Pearl River. The name of Four Tigers Huang Feihong became more and more famous. Wherever he went, everyone bowed down and called him Fourth Master. This made Beisha start to be afraid. Huang Feihong, who had infiltrated the inner circle, learned that Lei Gong had placed all his money in the silver vault, and the keys to the silver vault were divided into two, one on Erhu and the other on Sanhu. Huang Feihong quickly found Chihuo. They had been good friends since childhood, and they were like brothers. They had a deep hatred for the Black Tiger Gang. Now Chihuo has become the leader of the Orphan Gang, and he is an indispensable helper for Huang Feihong to deal with Lei Gong. And their first target was Sanhu, who was relatively weak. That day, Lao Shi and his younger brother had just finished drinking and walked out of the tavern, but they had no idea that today was their death anniversary. When they walked to the alley, suddenly a group of children rushed out from both sides and stopped Lao Shi and his friends to beg for money. An axe flew past him quickly, and Lao Shi looked around, but saw a man holding out his hand to indicate that he could not. When the old snake was about to turn around and chase after him, he was snatched away by a little beggar. The little beggar threw the wallet with all his might, and Ah Chun beside him caught it steadily. The old snake and his little brother hurriedly chased after him, and he limped to a small stall. Seeing the beautiful Ah Chun, the old snake suddenly became lustful and wanted to show off his own 3-second trick. But when he slowly walked forward, he was kicked onto the teapot on the table by someone. Before he could react, a pot of boiling hot oil poured out again, directly scalding Old Snake and his men to pieces. Ah Chun was not idle either. She went up and performed a set of gorgeous operations, and with the timely killing of Chihu, Old Snake was completely stunned. Chihuo flew up and kicked twice. Being surrounded by everyone, Old Snake had no power to resist and was firmly locked by several wooden sticks. The Orphan Gang's years of resentment against the Black Tiger Gang finally got a vent. They all used their greatest strength, squeezing Old Snake so hard that he even vomited bile. In the end, Chihuo's merciless kick killed him on the spot. After Ah Chun found the key on the body, she immediately copied it and then put it back. When Lei Gong found Old Snake's body, he gave the key on him to Beisha, and he also tested Huang Feihong. And Huang Feihong's next target was Black Crow. He first went to Black Crow's place to play cards. After he lost all the silver on him, he didn't feel bad at all, and he kept signing to borrow money. After losing hundreds of tiles in succession, the casino owner couldn't stand it anymore. Hearing that the casino refused to lend money, Huang Feihong started to lose his temper. Seeing someone making trouble, Black Crow's men rushed out one after another. Black Crow originally planned to spend money to settle the matter. Huang Feihong saw that Black Crow was greedy for money. He knew that Black Crow also had his eyes on the silver warehouse, so he would definitely not tell Lei Gong. After that, Huang Feihong blamed Beisha for Lao Shi's death. But Black Crow was still worried. He wanted to try whether the key was real or fake. This was exactly what Huang Feihong wanted. Then Black Crow went to the silver warehouse to unlock it, but he had already memorized the route of the silver warehouse in his mind. Looking at the room full of silver, he never thought that his greed would lead him to an irreparable fate. Huang Feihong secretly sent the map of the silver warehouse to Chihuo under the cover of fishing. In order to transmit information more safely, Huang Feihong hired Xinlan, the top prostitute in the brothel. Under the pretext of Xinlan looking for Ah Chun to sew clothes, Huang Feihong also learned about the next plan of the Orphan Gang. At night, Lei Gong took Huang Feihong to a secret room. Here, he collected the weapons of all his enemies. Lei Gong also told Huang Feihong about his glorious deeds of holding a knife and chopping for 3 days and 3 nights. But just when he was excited, Wu Sheng, the son of the Dark Knight, rushed in with a group of Beihai remnants. Lei Gong looked bloated, but he was extremely agile when he moved, and he restrained a group of younger brothers like a tiger out of a stream. Huang Feihong, who was unarmed, was chased and hacked by the martial saint with a sword, and soon he was in a mess. To avoid the sharp edge, Huang Feihong dodged and picked up the lampstand beside him and was about to fight back. But as soon as he waved his hand, he saw that the lampstand was cut in half. Huang Feihong jumped up, picked up the sword in front of him, and the two of them fought again. Their sword skills were superb, and sparks appeared on the blades in a flash. Although the martial saint was not as powerful as his father, he improved his father's sword skills. Not only was his body movement swift, but his sword skills were also extremely fierce. After several rounds, Huang Feihong gradually fell behind under such a strong offensive. Lei Gong relied on his fierce offensive and flexible steps to easily knock down all the martial saint's men. Seeing that Huang Feihong was suppressed from beginning to end, Lei Gong could not bear it any longer. The two fought fiercely again, their blades intersected, making low sounds. Then he seized the opportunity to push him down from the second floor and kicked him in the air. Although Wu Sheng was seriously injured at this time, he could not reconcile the hatred of killing his father. He blinded Huang Feihong's eyes with sand, and then he took the opportunity to kill him madly. Wu Sheng was unstoppable, and Huang Feihong could only resist in a panic. But in the end, he was unable to resist. Fortunately, at the moment of life and death crisis, Lei Gong rushed out from the side and blocked the fatal blow for Huang Feihong. Huang Feihong saw the right time, raised his knife, and cut off Wu Sheng's arm directly. Finally, he swung the knife straight to his chest. Wu Sheng, knowing that the situation was over, waited for death unwillingly. But Huang Feihong couldn't bear to kill innocent people. Just when he decided to put down his weapon, Lei Gong kicked the knife back. The martial saint was killed on the spot. Lei Gong was still smug at this time, but he didn't know that Qihua and others had come to his opium den. After they drove away the people inside, they burned it to ashes. Ah Chun led He Ya, who came to put out the fire, to a ruined temple. As Huang Feihong, who had been waiting for a long time, appeared, the orphan gang hiding in the dark also appeared one after another, and He Ya suddenly realized it. The third step was to send him to paradise. After getting the 2 keys, Ah Chun led people to open the silver warehouse of the Black Tiger Gang and distributed all the silver that Lei Gong had accumulated for many years to the poor people. But when all the plans were going smoothly, Qihua, who was trying to cover his companion's retreat, was surrounded by the Black Tiger Gang and was captured by Lei Gong. Huang Feihong took the scissors and struggled internally. He couldn't bear to kill his good brother, but if he disobeyed the order, it would surely arouse Lei Gong's suspicion. Just as he was hesitating, Black Crow's body was carried in. Bei Sha, Black Crow's old rival, immediately asked for his life to prove his innocence. But what he never expected was that he found a scepter scar on Black Crow. This plum blossom mark was exactly the same as the shape of his own scepter. It turned out that at the celebration banquet that day, Bei Sha deliberately made things difficult for Huang Feihong and hit him in the lower abdomen with a cane. So Huang Feihong copied the scar and covered it on the dead Black Crow. At this moment, Bei Sha had no words to defend himself. In a rage, he drew out his sword to threaten Qihua, forcing him to tell the truth. But he didn't expect that this move would make him even more passive. Afterwards, Qihua committed suicide to prove his loyalty and framed Bei Sha. Now Bei Sha could never clear himself. After this incident, Huang Feihong felt extremely guilty, so he found Xin Lan to confide his feelings. Huang Feihong told her everything, and Xin Lan saw that Huang Feihong was so tired and wanted to help him. But Huang Feihong didn't have time to be sad now, and Lei Gong lost 2 adopted sons in a row, and the silver warehouse was robbed. He just wanted to find the traitor in the gang as soon as possible. So he used Qihua's body as bait and ambushed people around. In order to get the body back, the members of the orphan gang also gathered at the dock and waited for an opportunity. Huang Feihong, who was passing by, had already noticed the clues and hurriedly asked the storyteller to sing a song, "Ambush from 10 sides, and please enter the trap." At this time, Lei Gong upstairs was confident that as long as they dared to act, they would definitely be caught in one fell swoop. But after hearing what the storyteller said, Lei Gong immediately slammed the table and stood up. He knew that someone was tipping off, so he immediately asked the storyteller to come in front of him. But the storyteller was blind and couldn't see who it was. But he said that his ears were very sensitive. So Lei Gong ordered everyone to come forward and say, "Ambush from 10 sides, and please enter the trap, one by one." Everyone did as he was told, and Bei Sha was no exception. When it came to Huang Feihong, the blind storyteller actually shook his head. The matter was also resolved with the help of the blind man. Afterwards, Lei Gong arranged for Huang Feihong to escort a batch of goods to the leprosy hospital. Bei Sha, who had lost Lei Gong's trust, went to the bathhouse to relax. Unexpectedly, Xin Lan came with a maid. In order to help Huang Feihong, she took the initiative to find Bei Sha and use the beauty trap. As the most famous courtesan in Guangzhou, while he was burning with desire, Xin Lan pulled out her hairpin and prepared to kill him. Unexpectedly, Bei Sha had been prepared for this. Bei Sha then looked ferocious, and he drowned Xin Lan in the bathtub. When he approached the maid fearlessly, Qihua's girlfriend Achun suddenly attacked and killed Bei Sha with a sword. Now, the 3 generals under Lei Gong have all died. Huang Feihong decided not to sit and wait for death. So he called on the brothers of the orphan gang to launch a counterattack. They made the crimes of the Black Tiger Gang public, and the people were outraged. People rushed into the county government to put pressure on them, and slowly, the team became stronger and stronger. In order to avoid large-scale bloodshed, Huang Feihong proposed to fight Lei Gong alone to the death. Faced with countless ordinary people, Lei Gong had to fight. As Huang Feihong lit the warehouse, the battle between the two of them started instantly. Lei Gong rushed forward, caught Huang Feihong off guard, and kicked him to the ground with a powerful kick. Faced with Lei Gong's fierce attack, Huang Feihong had no power to resist and almost died in the sea of fire. Unexpectedly, this completely aroused Huang Feihong's bloodiness. The two of them fought again. Both of them had given up all their strength. But as the fire became more and more intense, Lei Gong gradually became exhausted and sweated profusely. Huang Feihong found the right opportunity, and with a set of shadowless kicks, he directly knocked Lei Gong to the second floor and successfully fought back. After a lightning-fast confrontation, Huang Feihong kicked Lei Gong to the ground with a kick in the air. Unexpectedly, when the two sides fought again, Lei Gong was still unwilling to give up and used a hidden weapon. At this time, the flames had burned to the second floor, and the two of them stomped their feet repeatedly because of the heat. Affected by the fire, Lei Gong was not only sweating profusely, his physical strength was almost overdrawn. Seeing this, Huang Feihong turned with all his strength and kicked Lei Gong down in an instant. However, at this critical moment, Huang Feihong actually grabbed Lei Gong. Huang Feihong's betrayal and the disintegration of the Black Tiger Gang made Lei Gong unwilling to live in the world anymore. He then broke free from Huang Feihong's hand, fell in an instant, and was buried in the sea of fire. At this point, the Black Tiger Gang, which had been a disaster to the world, was completely destroyed, and the people no longer had to live in fear. In order to fulfill the dream shared with his brother Chihuo, Huang Feihong founded Bao Jilin to save the people of the world. Huang Feihong has also become famous since then.